Hi, good afternoon. Jeff Ray here, President and CEO, South Bend Regional Chamber, continuing our candidate conversations where we have Desmont Upchurch today with us. Desmont is the at-large candidate for South Bend Community School Corporation Board. Desmont, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, hey, appreciate your interest in running for school board. Obviously, a lot of thought goes into that. So for those of you or those that haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet, can you spend just a couple minutes telling us who you are, a little about your experience, some of that kind of stuff?
Okay. Again, my name is Desmont Upchurch, and me and my wife, we moved here from Norfolk, Virginia. We met in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm currently in the military. I'm at the stage where I'm retiring. So the military stationed me here in South Bend, Indiana. I had no idea where South Bend, Indiana was. All right. They said it was by Notre Dame. So I said, well, I know where that's at. But, so when we got here, we fell in love with the people. We couldn't find adequate home. So we ended up moving to Mishawaka, but we fell in love with the area. I did a lot of mentoring at Rise Up Academy. And as an Army recruiter, I was there recruiting, but mentoring as well. From there, we fell in love with South Bend. So we said, let's move to South Bend. So we bought a house in South Bend and we've been here. So we've been here a total of 4 years. Been in the military 20, retiring. And so that's what brought us here. And the opportunity for running for school board came along, and me and my wife, we discussed it, and it sounds like something that we want to do.
Great, sounds good. So we're going to fire several questions your way over the next 10 to 15 minutes. So thank you for being willing to catch the firing line here. It should be all right. And more importantly, thank you for your service to our country. We're really grateful for that, and we're thrilled that experience has brought you here to our community. So thank you for that. So Let's talk a little bit. So you're seeking a school board position. One of the questions I've been asking all the candidates is to just help us understand the position you're seeking. What's a school board member do, and why should it matter to the community here?
So with school board, we focus on, I would believe the school board will focus on the direction of helping our kids maintain, graduate, and seek better opportunities. And because our school corporation would be this great organization, kids would want to, once you graduate, you be a great pillar in society, you come back and reinvest that talent, skills back into our community. And I think if we have a great school corporation, when we graduate these kids and they come back, it would make South Bend even better than what it already is.
Great. No, I appreciate it. And you're running at large, so you're covering the entire school corporation boundary, which extends beyond the city limits. So you're covering a lot of territory these days, and so we know you're busy. So thank you again for hanging out with us for a little bit. You touched on it briefly, but sort of making that decision to run for office, put your name on the ballot, make that commitment to go do that. Talk a little bit more about the inspiration behind doing that.
So the inspiration for running for school board arrived when the referendum really sparked my interest. Once you're asking the taxpayers for $22 million, that sparked my ears to say, okay, well, what do we do with the beginning balance, right? And there was no justification on how did we get here. So those difficult questions that I wanted to ask were not being asked by the school board. So I could be one of those individuals who sit outside and complain, but I would rather put the military in me says, you get involved, then you put your ideas on the line and let your ideas be judged this way. So the opportunity came up for school board. I was frustrated with some of the questions not being asked, some of the tough questions. And when you're dealing with the pocketbook of South Bend community, it is difficult questions that has to be asked, and we expect those people on the board to be very responsible with that. And I just thought those individuals were not being responsible. So.
Great. So let's dive into your experience a little bit. So obviously your work experience, your time in the Army and different places. Talk about the skills that you've obtained there that you think help make you a better candidate. So where's the crossover? Some of the skills in your day job that are going to help you in the school board side of things.
So in my day job, because I've done recruiting for 13 years of my 20. I have great human resources skills, and because the rank that I've made, which is Sergeant First Class, I was able to sit in a lot of intelligence briefs to discuss the movement of recruiting for this area. So plus 3 years completely of combat experience. I've been to Iraq 3 different deployments. And I've had to make tough decisions. I've had to take a lot of information in, make tough decisions to move an organization forward. I believe those skills could do well for the South Bend School Corporation because there's a lot of difficult situations that we find ourselves in. Nothing extreme as war, don't get me wrong, but to save our kids, this feels like combat at this point, right? So I just feel that I have those type of skills to make difficult decisions based upon with the information that we have to move this community school corporation forward.
Great, thank you. So you've been boots on the ground a little bit here. You've been in the classroom some, mentoring. You've been in the community for a couple years. You're obviously on the campaign trail right now, meeting people and stuff. So what comes to mind if I were to ask you about some of the biggest challenges currently facing the school corporation?
I think one of the biggest challenges is the finances. We are receiving. Let's use the pandemic, for example. We had the pandemic, for example, and the board just passed a bill they passed to purchase 12 to 14 buses when we're not even in school, right? So it's just one of those things that could be tabled to next year, and we can use all those finances to make sure we have internet for our kids and Wi-Fi capabilities so we can have mobile students. It was just one of those conversations. Then the tough question was, well, is it 12, 13, or 14 buses? You can't say 12 to 14. That leaves room because buses cost a certain amount. How much are we spending? And nobody wants to have those difficult questions or challenge those who have that information to stand on the carpet and explain what are we purchasing, how much is this, and where's the rest of the money going. So I felt that should be tabled to another year. So it's small things like that where I'm not saying that the current board is not. Somebody may have not brought that up. But because I'm not sitting there to say, hey, listen, is this something we can do? It may be something you can't do. However, I just think that's the challenge. That's the biggest issue I think we're facing.
Great. Yeah, obviously, I think a lot of it would concur that finances in particular have been difficult for all school corporations. So appreciate that. So flip that for a second. Let's talk about opportunities. Obviously, there's got to be some opportunities that the corporation can take advantage on the horizon. What comes to mind if you were thinking about opportunities for the school corporation?
Opportunities. I believe that there's a great opportunity in innovation as far as figuring out with the COVID. I believe our kids have great solutions to our problems of how to solve some of these problems. I believe our teachers have great solutions to how to solve these problems. Our bus drivers have great solutions to how to save money planning out routes, our food and nutrition, they have great ideas. However, we do not talk to, or we're hiring consultants to pay them to give us information that we can already find out from the people that are on the bottom floor, if you will. So I just believe the great opportunity is innovation, especially in difficult times like this.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that. Last couple of questions here, about 4 or 5 minutes to go. So just think, maybe long-term, aspirationally, help cast a vision for, what the school corporation can be and what success looks like.
Okay, so what does success look like? Success looks, first, Empowerment Zone is doing great work. We see they're doing great work. However, the reason the Empowerment Zone is here is because of failure from the school corporation. So success would be being able to manage it well enough that we do not need an Empowerment Zone, that we rectify some of those issues that the state are asking us to do so that we don't have to have an Empowerment Zone. Success looks like a graduation, the first year, 25% higher graduation rate and steady growing till we get to 100% graduation rate of all our kids. Success also looks like saving our schools. We shouldn't be tearing down schools. We should actually have enough individuals want to stay in our school corporation that we need to be building more schools, right? That's what success looks like for me for this area.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that. So elections are about choices, and voters are going to have the difficult choice of going into the and casting a ballot for different folks. So talk just for a minute or so. Here's your chance to, how do you differentiate yourself? Why would somebody vote for Desmont Upchurch when they went in to cast their ballot?
Thank you for that question. Right. Vote Desmont Upchurch because you want someone who's passionate, who cares about the area and cares about the kids, who would be transparent, who would be reachable, who would talk to you on your level and not try to use pretty words to disguise anything. Vote Desmont Upchurch because I've served 20 years protecting this country, and now I want to serve by protecting this community.
Great, thanks, Desmont. So if folks were interested in learning more about you, your candidacy, where would I send them?
At this moment, send them to my Facebook page at Desmont Upchurch. You can search for me on Facebook. And I really don't use Twitter, and I'm still working on my website. So eventually, DesmontUpchurch.com is the website. I'm still working on it. Yes, but best way, email me, desmont.upchurch1@gmail.com, or just text me at 919-930-5768.
Great, Desmont, thank you so much for sticking with us for a few minutes today and for helping us better get to know you as a candidate. Thank you again for your interest in improving the community, and thanks for the great service that you've given our community and our country for so long. And we wish you best of luck come November.
Thank you so much.